Vector notation is another mathematical subject that we assume you have seen before, but just to level the playing field, let's review vector methods in ordinary three-dimensional space. A vector can be thought of as an object that has both length, or magnitude, and a direction in space. An example is displacement. If an object is moved from some particular starting location, it is not enough to know how far it is moved in order to know where it winds up. One also has to know the direction of the displacement. Displacement is the simplest example of a vector quantity. Graphically, a vector is depicted as an arrow with a length and direction. So, this Cartesian coordinate, we have vector r, di RC Rx Symbolically, vectors are represented by placing arrows over them. Thus, the symbol for displacement is r with this arrow over r. The magnitude or length of a vector is expressed in absolute value notation. Thus, the length of r is denoted by this notation. Here are some operations that can be done with vectors. First of all, you can multiply them by ordinary real numbers. When dealing with vectors, you will often see such real numbers given the spatial name scalar. Multiplying by a positive number just multiplies the length of the vector by that number, but you can also multiply by a negative number, which reverses the direction of the vector. For example, minus 2 multiplied to vector r is the vector that is twice as long as r, but points in the opposite direction. Vectors may be added. To add vector a and b, place them like this. This one is vector a, added by vector b, and we have a plus b, right? So we place them as shown like this figure to form a quadrilateral. This way the direction of the vectors are preserved. The sum of the vector is the length and angle of the diagonal. If vectors can be added and if they can be multiplied by negative numbers, then they can be subtracted. Vectors can also be described in component form. We begin with 3 perpendicular axes x, y, z. Next, we define 3 unit vectors that lie along this axis and have unit length. So, figures like this one. call this I, J, K. This is, we define 3 unit vectors that lie along this axis and have unit length. The unit vectors along the coordinate axis are called basis vectors. The 3 basis vectors for Cartesian coordinates are traditionally called I, J, and K, like these figures. More generally, we can also write E1, E2, E3, when we refer to x1, x2, x3, where the symbol like hat, known as a caret, tells us we are dealing with, like this is the symbol, tells us we are dealing with unit or basis vectors. The basis vectors are useful because any vector v can be written in terms of them in the following way. X the quantities fx, fy, and fz are numerical coefficients that are needed to add up the basis vectors to give v. They are also called the components of v. Yes. We can say that this equation is a linear combination of basis vectors. This is a fancy way of saying that we add the basis vectors along with any relevant vectors. Vector component can be positive or negative. We can also write a vector as a list of its components, in this case, like this. The magnitude of a vector can be given in terms of its component by applying the 3-dimensional Pythagorean theorem. Square plus fz square. We can multiply a vector v by a scalar alpha in terms of component by multiplying its component by alpha. We can write the sum of two vectors as the sum of corresponding components. A plus B, component X is Can we multiply vectors? Yes, and there is more than one way. One type of product, the cross product, gives another vector. But for now, we will not worry about the cross product and only consider the other method called dot product. The dot product of two vectors is an ordinary number, a scalar. For vectors A and B, it is defined as follows. A dot B equal the length of vector A times the length of vector B times cos theta, which is theta is the angle between the vector. In ordinary language, The dot product is the product of the magnitudes of the two vectors and the cosine of the angle between them. The dot product can also be defined in terms of component in the form like this. This makes it easy to compute dot products given the components of the vectors. An important property of the dot product is that it is zero if the vectors are orthogonal. So, zero if or perpendicular. Keep this in mind because we will have occasion to use it to show that vectors are orthogonal.